Anneliese Dressel of the Health Hub Times Square in Ballincollig joining me. Good afternoon to you, Anneliese.
Afternoon, Patricia.
And you're very welcome. Now, somebody who got in with a text bright and early this morning, and I made a note of it to make sure that I wouldn't lose it in the middle of all the other texts, saying, hi, I'm texting early for Anneliese, please. NutriAdvanced Perimenopause. Is that enough to be taking, or should I be taking something else with it? I'm going through the menopause at the moment. Your advice, please.
So this is a product, Patricia, that has a combination of different things to support women with the perimenopause symptoms. So there's stuff in there for the brain fog, forgetfulness, for the anxiety. There's plant-based hormones to prop up your own dropping estrogen. There's the B vitamins for a bit of energy, again for nervous system function. It's a lovely, lovely product, and we sell a lot of it, and it works very, very well. So the question is it enough? It's a hard one to know really for sure. Like, a lot of people like to take things like a multivitamin. I don't really generally recommend people take a multi if their diet is good, but that isn't a complete product. So it definitely wouldn't have things like, maybe some people with menopause might be worried about osteoporosis. So then in that case, you're looking to take vitamin D, 3, K2, possibly a bit of calcium and magnesium mix as well, if you feel you're at risk of osteoporosis. So it doesn't cover absolutely everything. If it's managing your symptoms, great. If it's not managing your symptoms, you might want to add an extra, maybe a little bit of plant-based hormone support. So you might want to add Dong Quai. I know is a very nice one. Terranova does Dong Quai. I used to also sell a lot of Lignan Plus by a company called BioNutri, and that seemed to work very well for people on its own as well. And if none of them work, then HRT is the best solution for you. And I recommend HRT all the time to people, Patricia. I know people still think of that big study that was done where it said it increased people's risk of cancer. But actually, I think the study has been a little bit debunked now. The risks are minimal and the benefits can be absolutely outstanding. So if it's not working for you, try HRT.
Okay. Hi, Anneliese. Is it okay to rub Dr. Organic Vitamin E essential oil onto my lips? The reason I'm asking is I went out in the fresh air in the garden over the weekend and my lips now have become very dry. I know I can buy the Vitamin E lip balm, but I'm just curious, as I have a little bottle of oil in the house at the moment, could I use that? Is it okay to use essential oil on your lips?
Well, actually, I think, if I'm not familiar with that product, but I'd imagine, I think I know the type that it is. It's actually vitamin E from an oil. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, Patricia, so we get it in things like nuts and seeds, cheese, anything fatty, avocados, all of those will be very high in vitamin E oil. Actually, sunflower oil, olive oil, they're all great for vitamin E. So you could rub that vitamin E oil on your lips, no problem. The same with olive oil or sunflower oil or any of those oils. They can be great for dry lips. The only caution I would say is don't go out in the sunshine, because if there's oil on your lips in the sunshine, they will burn and they get worse.
Yeah, you'll be in deep trouble. Mary, question for Anneliese. I was recently told by my doctor that my kidney functions are low and was told not to take anti-inflammatories. Can you tell me, is it okay to take curcumin as I've back and neck pain? Also, what would cause my kidney function to be low, and should I be worried?
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what the measure was, but there is GFR is measured in a standard blood test, which is called glomerular filtration rate, and it's your kidney's ability to filter, which is how it gets rid of lots of things out of the body, specifically our sodium, potassium, chloride, and magnesium, because it plays a big role in helping to manage your blood pressure. But also, it would also excrete drugs and different things. So that's why she's been told not to take non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. So if the GFR is low, it could mean that your kidneys are struggling to filter. It could be because of an infection. It could be because of kidney damage. There's also different viral illnesses that can affect the kidneys. So it's something that would need to be monitored. So really get a blood test done in another few months, and if it keeps going downwards, then you need to have further investigations to see what's happening. So in the meantime, to keep the kidneys healthy, the first question was, is it okay to take the turmeric extract as a natural anti-inflammatory? And that's absolutely fine. In actual fact, if there is inflammation in the kidneys, it will be of benefit for that as well. But other things, I would say follow a low-salt diet. If you go online and if you Google DASH, DASH diet, that is your typical low-sodium low-salt diet, and include plenty vegetables in your diet for potassium, which is always great for supporting the kidneys. So you could actually make a juice with celery, maybe some spinach, maybe ginger, lemon juice, and maybe half an apple, and that's a wonderful cleanser and support for the kidneys. And then there's certain herbs that are very beneficial for the kidneys. Dr. Dealish Clare does a lovely blend called Cystone, Cystone, and she also does it as a tea, and they are herbs that tonify and support the kidneys. So that might be something worth trying as well.
Okay, hi. Could Anneliese please comment on the difference between allergies versus intolerance versus food sensitivity to certain foods? What I'm really thinking about is gluten. Would a food allergy test confirm the severity? I think gluten is affecting my bowel urgency issues.
Okay, so a food allergy is an extreme an extreme response. So generally, if you've got an allergy to a food, you'll know about it because your lips will swell or your eyes will water or something, you'll get itchy. So a food allergy is nearly always identifiable. There is another immune response that I test for, and I call it a food intolerance, but you could also call it a food sensitivity. It actually is an immune response, but it's a much lower grade immune response. So rather like if you were to compare an allergy like a fire, the intolerance is more like a smoulder. So over long periods of time, it can affect things like it gives people migraine, eczema, maybe mucus production, postnasal drip, headaches, IBS. I'd see those regularly associated with food intolerances. Then food sensitivities, you could be sensitive to anything. So you could actually be sensitive to the E numbers. For example, tartrazine could make you hyper. That's also termed a food sensitivity. But the two immune reactions will definitely impact your health and impact your bowel. And gluten is a very common one. You can get a test done. Generally, the food intolerance tests I do here, they encompass more than just gluten. And very rarely, Patricia, if you have an intolerance immune response to one, there'll be a few that will show up. I've never just had one come back on a test. And the company that I use here, they actually do show the severity of the reaction, which is very useful to know, because if you're extremely intolerant, it means that you can't ever have it. And if you have a mild intolerance, it means you probably tolerate it well cooked in different foods.
Okay, somebody has a cholesterol issue. The results are 7.8 HDL and 2.6 LDL, 4.1 triglycerides, 1.1. How concerned should I be? This listener, Mary Mallow, has been on Viridian, poly something and red rice yeast for some time.
Okay, so was the first one 7.8 HDL?
Yeah.
I think that could be wrong, Patricia.
Okay.
So there's two different kinds of, maybe that's the total cholesterol. That's very possible.
Oh, sorry. It is. The HDL is 2.6 and the LDL is 4.1 and the triglycerides are 1.1. I'm just reading now. Yeah.
That makes more sense. Okay. So generally the doctor likes your LDL to be underneath 3. So just to explain very briefly what they are, Patricia, actually LDL and HDL are proteins that carry cholesterol around the body. LDL carries cholesterol from the liver, where you make it, to various sites around the body where it might be needed to make hormones, etc. And then HDL is the cleaner upper, and it goes around the body, gathers up all cholesterol that's not needed and gets rid of it, brings it to the liver to be gotten rid of. So if you've got high HDL, generally you're very, very healthy. And ideally, you don't want to have any more than 3.5 times your LDL, the bad guy, than HDL, the good guy, the cleaner upper guy. So this lady has got 4.1 LDL, but she has got 2.6 HDL. So her ratios are good. Mm. Her triglycerides are good. So while her overall cholesterol might be high, it's not the worst picture at all. Now, if there's any family history of heart disease, I would certainly recommend that she goes for further investigation. And a calcium score test is lovely. they're starting to be done more frequently as a measure of the amount of calcification. So if cholesterol is deposited in your arteries and if it hardens with calcium, it's calcification of the arteries, and that's what causes the blockage. So calcium score tests, ask your doctors to organise one of those and get those done routinely, and otherwise I think she's fine the way she is.
Okay, good luck with that. Mary, who also wants to thank you. She'd sent in a previous text a couple of weeks ago to do with her nails. You gave her fantastic advice and she said it worked out exactly what you said, so she wants to wish you a happy Easter, so thank you for that. What is the best moisturiser, said Dan, for psoriasis on legs and knees?
Okay, so psoriasis is a difficult one, Patricia, and actually people will often find a moisturiser that works brilliantly and it'll work for a while and then stop, and that's because psoriasis is actually driven from the inside. So the immune system is causing your cells of your skin to divide and multiply far too quickly, so you get these itchy, flaky, plaque kind of skin build-ups. So in terms of what's worked well for our customers, the Viridian Oregon Grape Balm is one of the best ones. It's actually, it comes from the root of the Oregon grape plant. So that's one that can be worth trying. Some people get a good result from the Salcura Zeoderm and the Derma Spray. That can be very, very soothing. But for anybody with psoriasis, I would recommend that you take very high-strength fish oils internally. Especially the ones that are high in DHA, because that will help put the fat into the skin from the inside out. Also, fish oils are very good at helping to balance the immune system. And in the case of psoriasis, I generally find that people have a link with food intolerance. So maybe consider a food intolerance test and get your gut healed, because a lot of the immune system dysfunction starts there.
Okay, listen, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for that. Have a lovely week.
Thanks, Patricia.
And,
happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you as well. Anneliese, of course, won't be back with us next Monday, but she will be back with us in a fortnight's time. And if you go onto her website, healthhubstore.com, later on this afternoon, she'll put up all the products that she mentioned today as heard on the radio programme. And it's just handy for people to see the different products that we've been talking about, because I accept at times Anneliese is great and we go through a lot of information. Sometimes it's hard to write everything down, so you can go on her website, healthhubstore.com.